Hey there, folks. Welcome to day 44 of my year of solo board gaming. We have a game here, Fantastic Factories. This is actually the fourth time I'm starting this recording, and I just have to make sure. Yeah, I played through almost an entire game and realized I'd forgotten to hit the record button. Oops. So we're at the beginning of the game. Nothing's really set up yet, except things are roughly where they're supposed to be. We're going to be playing up against the Solo Machine. And what I really like about the machine is that the difficulty is easy to set. You basically determine how many starting contracts they'll get. 2 for an easy game, 3 for medium, 4 for hard, and then 5 for insane, I think is how they refer to it, or something along those lines. Something that has those implications. In the game of Fantastic Factories, you are essentially attempting to build a number of buildings that will help you generate goods. Or help you generate the things that you need to make the buildings that make goods. Along the way, you'll also be trying to build gain prestige points. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most prestige points and goods wins. So a very simple mechanic. I really like the way that this game is plays out. I really like the way that the solo mechanic works. So thankfully, this is the sort of game that I enjoy because this is now my 4th time attempting to play through for this video. We're going to go ahead and give the solo machine, we're going to give them 3, so that's going to be 2 blues and 1 red. I'm leaving some space there for the 2 other colors plus a separate area for monuments. Hopefully you should be able to see everything. We'll build in this little area here, and I'll try to make sure that you can see my cards as they come up. We already have our starting materials, which is going to be 1 metal and 2 electricity. And we've got a couple extra dice here set aside, just in case, but we've got our 4 main dice here. So let's see what we have to start off with. When you're playing solo, you go first, then the machine. You are playing until either the machine has 12 goods, you have 12 goods, or you have 10 buildings. Now, whichever one of those comes first, on whatever turn that happens, you then play you play that full round, and then you play 1 more full round after that, and then the game is over. And then you tackle it up. Now, in the playthrough that I did that I forgot to do the recording on, I recorded the end of it, and I ended up being 23-23 with the machine. So it was pretty close. So this is actually a really helpful one. This is basically spend a metal, and you'll get to roll an extra die. And that is really helpful. Now, to build any of these projects, you're going to need 2 things. You're going to need the goods that are listed on the left here. So I need, for example, 2 metal, 3 electricity. This one only needs 1 metal, 1 electricity. But you also need a project of the same type. So these ones both have wrenches on them. Oh, and I forgot to put these out. Both of those have wrenches on them. So I can build one of them, but then I have to discard the other. The other 2 that I have a little gear on them and a little hammer on them. So unfortunately, I can't build either of them unless I pick one up that has that on it. And so one of the frustrating things is there's a warehouse here, and I really want that warehouse. So I think I'll shuffle these up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and put these up randomly as best we can. These just simply indicate what contractor you might be able to get. The way the turn is structured is that there's a market phase. During the market phase, I can take one of these, or if I want to give up a project of a specific type, so I could give up this orange one and take the electrician. If there's any other additional requirement, like these hired hands both require 3 electricity, I'd have to give that up as well. And then you get the benefit down here immediately. When you're playing solo, if you see a benefit that says pick an opponent to gain blank, ignore it. So in this case, I would get 5 electricity, and then there's no opponent, so I wouldn't give them anything. This one, I'd get 3 contract cards, and then I wouldn't get anything. When you roll the dice, what you're doing is you're then assigning the dice to one of these little categories here. Sometimes you'll assign them to cards, but that comes later. Each of these allows you to take basically get either contracts or materials. With the power, 1, 2, or 3 generates that much power. So a 3 generates 3 power, 1 generates 1 power, 4, 5, 6 allows you to get 1 metal regardless of value. If you have matching values, then that generates an extra piece. And if you have 3 matching values, you get 2 extra pieces. So that's really good. But not often, not as common as you'd like. So the first thing I'm going to do is during the market phase, I'm going to take the warehouse. I definitely want to get that. And I really would love to be able to try to get another, because I really want both of these. I want both of these items. one more thing is that at the bottom, you'll see a couple little squares. That indicates how many of those there are in the deck. So for example, there's 4 of these beacons, 2 of the warehouse, there's a whopping 3 robots. And so I've taken my thing, we're going to restock that. And then I'm going to roll and see what we get and take it from there. Alright, not great. We'll get a fair amount of power. There's a part of me that wants to do some research. Now, when you do research, you can use any dice for it. And if you use any dice for it, you get to draw 1 from the top of the deck. You do not draw 1 from here. It's always from the top of the deck. This warehouse is... I mean, this warehouse could be really good in terms of producing goods. You do have to use a lot of dice to get that warehouse to be active, and then you pretty much stop producing after that. So I think my best bet here is... yeah, I think I see what I need to do. Alright, so we are going to build a robot. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to use any of these dice yet. But I'll leave them right here. So we're going to get 1. We need to give up the warehouse, which is sad. And then we're going to give up the metal and electricity. And we now have built it. Now we can spend a metal to get 1 extra dice this turn. We don't have any metal yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the 5 and the 6 over here. We're going to get 2 metal. We're going to go ahead and spend 1 of that metal, and we're going to get an extra dice. Now, the reason I did that, I probably should have held off on the 6 as well, but if we roll a 5 or a 6, we'll be able to get 2 metal out of it. Alright, we got a 1. That's not great. So we'll go ahead and do the 4 here to get that last metal. We'll do 3 for the electricity. 1s are kind of useless. We'll go ahead and do a 1 to get 1 more card. Got an obelisk. And then we want to build one of these. I think we want to build the nuclear power plant because that'll give us electricity. Both of these have the same prestige value. And honestly, I could not have held on to the 6. The 6 would have been nice to be able to then turn this into a product this round. But I wouldn't have had enough metal to do it. So we'll give up 2 metal. We'll give up 2 energy. And we've gone ahead and built that. We have to give up a green to go along with that. And we now have 2 cards. Can't build anything else. We have no more dice to play. So we're going to put that aside. And now it's the solo machine's turn. The machine rolls all 5 dice, 1 of each color. Alright, and the green will affect how this is done. Now if it's 1 through 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it just simply takes this and puts it aside. If it's a 5, it takes the top card from here and then resets this row. And if it's a 6, it takes the top card from here and then resets this row. Then you take a look at the colored dice and you compare the total on each die to what the number of cards that they have of that color. So right now it has 1 yellow and it rolled a 2. It has no purple, no red, no purple, no red. And then we have 1 on the blue die, but it does have 2 properties of blue, 2 buildings that are blue. If these had been switched, each of these would have counted because you count if it's equal or lower, then the machine gets a good. So the machine gets 1 good for the blue. It is on its way to kicking my butt, which it usually does. All right, then we replace that, and now it is my turn. So now we are starting our second turn. So my big thing right now is that I can try to go for getting a whole bunch of cards. I kind of like the idea of getting that harvester because that could be good for getting a lot of materials, and early on you kind of want to get as many materials as you can. We'll go ahead and take the harvester, I think. Yeah. And then we'll roll some dice. Now we're not rolling the robot yet because we have to actually spend a metal to do that. And we'll need at least 1 metal to build the harvester. Alright, we did very poorly. But we are generating a lot of electricity. So we'll generate 8 electricity this round. We'll get 1 product. We can't do jack else. That is not good. That is a bummer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I pulled out exactly 8. Now you cannot have over 12 of these items. So right now I'm at 10 for the electricity. I cannot have 13. I have to discard down to 12 combined metal and electricity. I also cannot have more than 10 cards. So right now I'm good because I've got 4 cards. But that was probably the worst possible way that turn could have gone. Pull that over. All right, so 5. It is going to reset this row. It's going to take the top card. It has its first purple. I'll go ahead and reset these. Now, you'll notice that robot has come up. I cannot build a second robot. You can only have one of each item unless it specifically says that you can have multiple items. So this obelisk says that you can have multiple obelisks. The rest are limited. For the dice themselves, we got a 2 for the purple. No, we have still no red. None of these are generating any product, so yay. So now it is our turn. So we kind of hit a bummer on the last one. We can't do anything with the robot except build with it. We can use it to build the harvester and the obelisk. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I kind of want to... The obelisk would be nice to actually have, because it's worth 2 prestige points at the end. So we'll take the robot. We're just going to use that as a building thing. And then we'll go ahead and roll, and hopefully we'll get better results this time. Alright, somewhat better. We're going to go ahead and use the 4s and the 4s. That's going to give us 3 metal total. We get 1 for each of them, and then we also get to 1 because they match. And we're going to go ahead and use 1 to get an extra dice, and roll that immediately, and we get a 2. Alright, so we got a lot of dice here that could be... that will be helpful in terms of burning cards. We're going to go ahead and build... I think we're going to go ahead and build the harvester first. So that's going to be 1 and 2. Can't do anything with it. We're going to give up the robot to build it. And then we're also going to, I think, build the solar array. We could try to build a recycling plant, but we need 1 more metal to do that. We have 1 more metal. We can generate 1 more metal. So we'll go ahead and do that, because that actually produces... That's going to produce goods. So we get a metal for the 5, but then we use both of them to build that, and we give up 1 more of these. For the last thing that we're going to do, we can't really do anything else with the card that we have remaining. We can pull some projects, though, and we're going to go ahead and do that. We don't really need the electricity, but we do need the cards. There we go. We got a couple good ones here. Not too bad. Not great, but not too bad. And that is the end of my turn, so we'll go ahead and roll for the solo. And the solo gets another yellow. Fortunately, it has 6 yellow, but is going to score off their purple and blue. So they're going to get 2 total. Now, the game does include these special, like, 2 goods things, but I think it just gets confusing at that point. So we'll go ahead and throw those back. Solo is done. The solo is just a really quick thing. It's one thing that's really nice about that. So right now we've got a couple different things here. I kind of want to get some cards. So I'm actually going to do something that I normally would not do. Oh, actually, I have an option here. I'm going to use the obelisk. I'm also going to give up 3 energy. I'm going to do something that I never do. I'm going to use the hired hands here. And what that does is it gives me 2 extra dice at the start of this next work period. So in addition to the 4 that I would normally roll, I'm going to get 2 more. And then the robot will give me 1 more as well once I have an extra metal. So we're going to get a lot of dice here on this round. And hopefully really stack up a lot. Okay, so let's see what we... Good Lord, I am not rolling anything worth rolling. We'll go ahead and do the 4. That will give us 1 metal. And then we'll use that to kick in the robot's ability. And we get another 4. So that's good, because that's going to give us 2 more metal. Now, we actually... So this is not great, but it's also not the worst thing in the world. We're going to go ahead and use the 1s to generate 4 metal. So we really need the metal. The metal is harder to get. We're then going to use 2 more ones to generate 3 more cards. The Cryolab, the Golem, and we just take 3. And then finally we can use the 2. We don't really have anything else that we can do with the 2, and none of these are going to be helpful in that respect. So we'll go ahead and use the 2 for electricity. Now we get to do some building here, because we got a lot of metal parts here. So we can either generate... We've not been able to use this nuclear power plant either. That's a bummer. So I think the Golem's first. I think the Golem is first because we want to use that, and we want to give up this. That's going to cost us 4 electricity. We are now in an interesting spot where if we wanted to, we could go ahead and spend 6 energy to get an extra dice of value 6. And I kind of like that idea. I mean, I know I've got some other stuff here that I kind of want to generate. The reason I want to do that is I want to play that here, get the 6, and finally get a good. That would be nice. But I do kind of also want to get this laboratory built. So we're going to give up the refinery. We're going to build the laboratory. We're not going to quite jump on the Golem yet. It's probably a bad idea. You're probably screaming at me going like, that's a dumb idea. That's going to leave us 3 there. We don't have any other cards left. We're good on metal. So I think that's it. I think that's as much as we can do. We're progressing really fastly towards actually having all 10 buildings. We have not generated any goods yet, though. So that's a bit of a problem. Now, ultimately, the score, your score in the game is prestige plus goods. The score for the solo machine is 1 for each card, 2 for plus an extra 1 for each monument, plus goods. So right now they're looking at 10 total. If this game were over, we would have 5 total. We'd lose the game. All right, so they're going to take the second one. That's going to be another blue, which unfortunately means that they're going to kick in 2 of their colors. The other 2, fortunately, do not kick in. We're going to take all these off. All right, and we're going to go ahead and select an item. Now, we've only got 1 item left right now. We could, if we wanted to, go ahead and do that trick again with the hired hands, and this time go with the other ones. Kind of want to hold this onto this for the monument, but I really kind of need cards to start working with, and I need to generate products. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and use this to take the hired hands again. We're going to give this electricity up. We're going to get 6 dice total to roll. Okay. Still unbelievably no 6s. And we're not going to generate enough energy to make a 6. So we are going to get some cards. This is how I want to do this. Yeah, I think so. We're going to get some cards. We're going to get 3 total. We're going to use this to generate 7 energy. And then we're going to use 6 of it to generate, use the Golem to generate a 6. And that 6 is going to go here. And the problem is if I want to use the metal to roll an extra dice, I don't have enough dice to do that. But this is going to give us our first product at least. It's going to give us an extra energy. We can now use 2 cards, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to use the university and nuclear power plant along with 2 energy to generate 1 more good and get another card. And technically what you're supposed to do is when you do stuff like this and you do that, like that indicates that you've used it. Now we also have the laboratory, and something I forgot to do. The first product that we got, I should have also drawn an extra card to go along with that. So now we're up to 3 cards. I can do this, and I'll get 3 more cards on top of that, which will be nice. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3. And there's not much else I can do because I could build a university. I have no reason to build a university other than the fact that I can do it. I could also do the temp agency, but neither the temp agency or the university are going to give me any points whatsoever at the end of the game. Really, it's just to hit the 10 faster. Can't get any more electricity. I'm going to go ahead and use this metal on the robot. I haven't actually used that yet, and because I'm out of gray dice, I'm going to grab one from here. And it's a 1. That's awesome. So I'll generate 1 electricity. And I'll generate 1 metal. And for my 1 and 1, I cannot build anything. I don't have enough to really do anything with. I can't play a 4th one here, unfortunately. But that is the end of my turn. I'm going to pull all these dice off. And now the machine is going to go. Okay, so 5 means that it's going to take the top off there. It gets its first red. We'll line up the reds there. That's that. That's that. We're going to clear these, and it will get 1 more point for the blues. All right, so now my turn. I've got a bunch of stuff that I can build if I can generate some extra things, especially obelisks. I'm actually going to go ahead and build. I'm going to pull the robot because that's going to help me with the building. We get another obelisk there. We're going to have 4 dice to start off with this time. No crazy 6 dice rolls here. Still nothing in the way of... That's insane. I mean, that is absolutely insane. That should be back there. We're going to go ahead and use a metal to roll 1 more dice. 6! Yay! We're going to produce a good and get an energy. Because we produced a good, we get to draw 1 more card. Alright. We've got a golem here that we can't use because we can only build 1 of them. So that's good because now we can build both our obelisks. We're going to go ahead and... What's nice about the harvester is that now if I have matching 4s, I can play them here and get extra metal. And then the 3 is going to give me 3 electricity. And I can't do anything there. So I've used that. I've not used that. I have used that, and I've not used that. If I generate another 3, use 3 dice, it may see counterintuitive. I can then put the 3 here and get 4. So basically it'll generate 1 extra electricity. And probably not the worst thing worst idea in the world. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll use the golem. We've used everything now except for the recycling plant. So we're going to use 4 there. That generates a 3. A 3 goes here, and we get 1 extra on top of that. Now, we want to build these obelisks. We can build 1 of them. We can also build a scrapyard. Okay, so we're going to build an obelisk. That's going to be 3 metal plus 1 electricity. And we have to give up a blue card. Battery factory would be nice, except I don't have enough. Oh, scrapyard. I should have done the scrapyard first. So I'm going to swap the order of that. Scrapyard, and then this, we give up the battery factory because once I build the scrapyard, then when I build an obelisk, I get 1 extra back. So, sorry. I know that's a bit kludgy, but I'm going to do that. Have that kicking right away. We're now at 8 cards. I can't build any more here. What I could do is I could build the temp agency. I still have enough for that. That'll put me at 9, which is not enough to kick in the final round, but it gets me pretty close. I'm going to hold on to that, and then if I can end it on the next round, or at least kick in the final game conditions on the next round, I will. All right, let's roll these guys, and it rolls a 6, so it's going to say goodbye to all the contractors, and then pull one from the top of here. That's another red, and fortunately these are all really high dice, so it's not going to get any more product from that. It can be tough because essentially the machine is gaining at least 1 per turn. All right. So let's pull all these aside. We'll go ahead and first of all, we need to pick one of these. So if we want to kick in the last round, we have to have something else that we can build. We could try to build the obelisk, and we can try to build the temp agency, but I think let's go ahead and grab one more obelisk. And I think no matter what, we're gonna close out the building here. We're gonna finish off this round, and we'll have one more round after. Let's see what we get first. Okay, so kind of garbagey. We'll use the 2s to generate 4 more metal. We'll go ahead and build an obelisk. That's going to take 3 of our metal plus 1 of our electricity, but because we have the scrapyard now, we get 1 back. So now we can build our other obelisk. We've now built 10 places. Now, your second building does not generate 1. That's it. We can't build any more. We can't get it. We have no more metal to build. But what we can do is we can do that. That's going to give us 1 more product and 1 more electricity. We can use this. We can go ahead and get rid of our last 2 cards and the electricity. Get 1 more product. We'll actually get 1 card out of that as well. So we've used, we gained a product, so we're actually supposed to draw a card as well for the laboratory. So that gives us 2 there. So we've used this card, we've used this card, we've used this card. We've not used this, but we have no electricity to work with, and we have no metal to roll with. So we have a 5, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do with that 5 to be interesting. I think the 5 I'm going to get a metal with. I'm going to use it on the robot, so that'll give me 1 more dice to roll. I roll a 4. That is not really going to do anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the 4 to, I think, the 4 to get a metal back. So that was kind of a useless 4. Could have been something, but you know, that's the way of dice. All right, so we replace that, and Solo's going to get a turn this round. They're going to get a turn this round, and then we'll do 1 more round, and then that's the game. So it's going to take the 3rd one. It's going to get another obelisk, which means 2 points for that at the end of the game. Let's see. It's got 1 purple. It does not have enough on any of the other ones, so it will get 1 more product. And you guys can probably already figure out the math by now to see whether or not I'm going to win or lose. I'm probably going to lose. Trying to figure out if there's anything I can do with the products that I have here. There's unfortunately nothing up here in terms of the colors I need, which is frustrating. I can spend an electricity if I had one, but I don't. What I can do is I can use either these 2. I could get some electricity or get some metal, neither of which are really going to help. I think the only thing I can do is just pull something that I think I might be able to build. So maybe I can build the biolab for a point. Because I have a recycling plant, I have a laboratory, so I'll pull the biolab and I'll hope we'll get something out of that. But right now we're just trying to produce goods and prestige. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to do that 6. We're going to generate 1 electricity, 1 good. Because we produced a product. Should go down here. We're going to get a card. Got a fitness center. That also does us no good. we can do a bit of research. We're going to get a megalith. The megalith would be really good because our metal for this is 2 and 2. So we need one more metal, one more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's how we're doing the rest of this. We're going to get 3 power from this. We're going to get 1 metal. We're going to go ahead and build the megalith. That's huge. That's a nice point generator. Give that up. It's only 2 metal and 2 power because we already have 3 other monuments, and we're going to get 1 back for being our first thing that we build from the scrapyard. In addition, we have enough to kick in the recycling plant. We'll just go ahead and use 2 of these, and we'll use these 2, and that generates 1 more good, 1 more card. I can't do anything with either of those. That's it. I'm done. I've finished generating points. I could use the metal to go for a robot. You kick in the robot's ability. Why not? It's going to do no other good whatsoever. Maybe something will happen from this. The thing is, I need both metal and electricity. Let's try that again. 2. Yeah, that's nothing. That was kind of a pointless thing, but essentially I've got 2 more electricity now, just sort of sitting there. All right, so final turn for the solo machine. Oh, need to replace that. So it pulls blue. Doesn't have enough there, doesn't have enough there, doesn't have enough there, does have enough on blue. And that's its last point. So now, how did I do score-wise? Let's figure this out. So I've got 7 goods here, plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21. It's not a great score. This is going to have 1, 4, 2 there. So that's 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21. Let me just make sure I have the score correct because I don't want to mess this up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 11, 14, 21. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21. 21, 21. It is a tie game again. I cannot tell you how frustrating that is. I was hoping to beat it, but no, not in the cards today. But anyway, thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.